Hello everyone. So take 80. So if you have ever heard of Pico 8, which is basically just like TIC 80, but TIC 80 is a open source, as you can see, tiny computer, which is also a virtual console at at this said itself. So at its state, there are built-in tools to develop code, sprites, map, and etc., which you can have enough, which is enough to create a mini retro game. So you can either use it for, let's say, a concept for game that's at least you have fun. So although let's go ahead and click learn, and you see this page and scroll down to the specifications. So there are certain limitations to this system, which is obviously you can see here. So the amount of display that you have is it's about only I think this is a 5x3 or 4x3, I don't know. So you can have at least 240 by 136 pixels and about 16 colors, which you can choose preferably which type of color you can add and use in your game. So the inputs, you can have at least 2 gamepads in a game, in a computer. So this gamepad is limited about in 9 buttons, which actually mouse 1, mouse 2, scroll up, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down, mouse 3, mouse up, mouse down, mouse left, mouse right. So that's about 9. So you can have at least 17 different buttons if you can use them all. So here you can have at least total of 512 sprites or pixels, actually pixels. So 8 by 8 is the normal size when you're making a sprite, so please do keep that in mind. So map cells, you can use these as your own scenes. Basically that's it. Name states, it's primarily used as a map, and it spans around this resolution in total. So yeah, so the sound, you can only have 4 with configurable waveform, which you can edit to sound like a instrument. So in order to create a function in this virtual console, you at least need to have a knowledge of these scripting languages. Although some people call them program. Well, that's the process you do when you are scripting. That's called program. That's what you run in a machine. That's called program. When it's done, when you're creating a script and you can able to run the script, that is program. So these are scripting language. Programming language needs compiling. Please do keep that in mind. So scroll down here and we will be able to see the console commands, which will be very, very helpful for us while making some games. So basically helps you to this command does, and etc, etc. So mostly you can able to use all of these if you are making a game. So when you create something, say create a new cartridge, or basically just press escape and the code editor pops up and you have the default cartridge in your system. Just edit it and save the cartridge in your desired name. So what's the cart name? And it will be saved in that TIC. I really wish the the cartridge was in picture format, because that's what Pico 8 uses to save the game. So once you loaded, you can command run and the game will run directly. It's like a ls command in bash, or it's a this command in Windows folder. So it will opens the working directory in OS. Please do take in mind that it will only works in Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. So, and here, this is the interesting command of all of them. So, add. It shows the file dialog to add file to TIC. So let's say you exported a resolution file. Let's say from the other cartridges, I made a picture or animation of my character, and I want to import it in my file. Is that how it works? We'll find out. So yeah, delete self-explanatory, get, which basically downloads the game from who knows where did you got. So export. So this is where the final game comes out. So yeah, you can use this command. So import. So you can only import sprites, cover, and map from a GIF or a TIC. TIC. So CLS, this command is the bread and butter of any TIC 80 games. So be sure to take in mind that you need this command in order for your game to work, because I already experimented that without this command the game will just boom, do nothing. So yeah, demo, it will install some demo in your TIC 80 program config. This is your TIC 80 configuration on how you want it to run, or yeah, basically some advanced user stuff. So please do take in mind that you need to be careful when using these commands. So let's go ahead and drop this down, and oh, as you can see, I already have TIC 80 running in my computer. So let's go ahead and try running help command in the command line. So as you can see, once I entered, and there is how you use the help command. So in default, it will show you how to use help command. So it basically, yeah, helps you what this command does. So let's try help and API. So API is a function, so like OVR, SEN, okay, hidden, and etc. These are the API functions that you're gonna use in your game creating process. So let's go ahead and make our game. Let's clear this screen. So once you press F1, the code editor pops out, and as you can see, so pretty much some basic stuff. So as you can see, there's a function here. This is basically your main loop. So if I run this, which is right about here, as you can see on my cursor, there's a run button, and if I click it, and there we go, hello world. So this is the default cartridge once you open a new cartridge in the TIC 80. So let's rename our game, although this is not how you rename your game, but anyways, let's say there you go. So go ahead and press F2 and you will see the sprite editor, which there's a default here. So I personally advise you not to put anything in number 0, because this will serve as your clear once you are making a sprite, or once you are making a scene or a map, as you can see here. So yeah, let's go back, and yeah, so click to the cell and press 8 and do the same thing, another. So let's go ahead and make our first texture. So just to keep it simple, you can see here, I pretty much make a ground, and so yeah, you're gonna use that in your game creating process. And now I'm gonna make my character. So just press tab and then switch those states. Oh yeah, let me go back and time lapse again. So as you can see here, I literally just made it simple. So this is just a walking sprite, a 3-frame walking sprite. So we're just gonna code that in our code editor, just that one. So yeah, let's go ahead and clean this code a bit. So yeah, some notes. If you are just creating your script, I prefer that keep your moving variables out of the function, because it will just stay in that value. It will just loop in the same value again and again and again. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this mess. Color. So as I'm gonna pick the color in my game, I prefer using the 0 or whatever color you want. Just not make it the same color in your objects or text. So I'm gonna choose 0 here. So now I'm gonna leave this control here, and I'm gonna make a new function, and I will call this player, and put n, and yeah, there we go. So as you can see in the sprite editor, there's a number, and you can put that number while you're coding. So sprite, yeah, there we go. 256. Yeah, coordinates x and y. Forgot the other two. So this is how well you're gonna need the help. So there. So what this API does is it draws the sprite number and then index, which is already in our sprite editor. That's the index. The 256, that's the character index that I am using. So as you can see here, the ID, the number that I just used, coordinates x and y, color key. Color key plays a huge role in making your character look nice and not bare boxy, because we are limited in the space that we are using. So yeah, in scale, so the default scale is at 1, but I prefer including it in your code anyways. So yeah, flip, 0, rotate, pretty self-explanatory. So width, height, this option tells you about how big is your sprite will be. So let's go ahead and go over the sprite editor. So as you can see here, there is a canvas zoom. So if I click this second option, this will give me a 2 by 2, 2 on width and 2 on height. So this is how big 2 width is. So 3 self-explanatory, and 4 being the largest, because you can only have 4 in your canvas. So I will not prefer using 4. So just limit yourself by using 8 by 8, although the coordinate says it's 7 by 7 for unknown reasons. So yeah, and let's go ahead and so we're gonna run the function inside the TIC function, which obviously I planned ahead, and lately. So player print void and run, and there's our sprite or player. So if I press the direction button, it will move, and there we go. So some other experimentation stuff you can use is print the coordinates of what your player have. So we're just gonna do that. And there we go. So pretty much you're gonna want your testing phase like this. So yeah, so if I want to limit my, let's say, character, which I will do, wait a minute, so let's say so let's see how well this will run. So if I go up, and it will not go more than 13, and if I go left, it will not go more than 10, and if I go down, it will not go more than 126, and if I go right, and it should go, oh no, that's a bummer. So we cannot go over 250, so say at least 230 or 220, 210, 220, and oop, there we go. So as you can see, this is pretty much useful when making a one level or one screen level, which will definitely make the game too small, I guess. So yeah.